Hello and welcome to week 10 of building Theed Palace. Last week I built this little structure. It was supposed to be the temple, but I wasn't really entirely happy with it. So my plan for this week is to kind of just completely redo it. I'm pointing at the wrong thing here, but yeah. I want to take this apart and redo the front of it, basically. Okay, so first up today we have got a gigantic BrickLink haul. So let me just pour this out and skip the pleasantries, because we've got a bunch of stuff here. So I'm going to move this all to the right and bring it over to the left as I finish with it. First thing I see is this little 2x2 plate, tile even. This was an exclusive tile to the, if I didn't drop it, the Venator set from the Clone Wars. I believe that was a 2009 set, I want to say. And I never got that set, but this should be a very useful tile in some kind of Palpatine's office mock, if I ever want to make that, or it's just a cool design for the Republic, so it's very useful. Next up, I've got this piece, and I believe I also have its counterpart. These two wedges. I believe most things show the price I paid for each of them. Like these were like 20p each. These two wedges for the pirate tank. I've got quite a lot of weakway pirates, so I want to try and put together some kind of custom tank. And these wedges should be useful for that. So very, very nice. I then have these two stickered modified tiles. I'm not sure what set they're from, but the design looks quite useful, and they were cheap, as you can see. So, yeah, they'll be useful at some point. Not sure for what yet. And this is a really cool slope brick with a design that's got bullet holes in it. I've already got one of these pieces. It was from the Battle of Seleucami set, so very grateful to have another one of those. I have one of these, a whatchamacallit, a vulture droid head. This was just 5p because the sticker is a little bit peeling. But I want to put together a custom little droid for, Theed. So that should be very useful for that. I'm going quite quick because I don't want to waste too much of your time. What's next? These two, big wedge bricks in light bluish grey. I didn't buy these. I did buy these. What am I saying? I intend to take the stickers off of these because I want to use them in a new custom vehicle. So hopefully those will be useful for that. Next up is some more of these. I've got quite a lot of them already, but always good to bulk up because they're very useful for wall designs and bases and such. They're just quite nice ornate pieces. I've also got some of the same ones in brown. I believe these cost 6p each, and these cost 11p each. So it's pretty useful. This one's for more like wood based stuff, so if I feel like my Hobbit stuff, those will be definitely useful. Speaking of brown wood based pieces, I've got a ton of these storage boxes. I believe I've got, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 it looks like. Those were 4p each. Very, very nice. This little bag I got for a collaboration with someone who's very popular. Probably the most popular person that follows me, but that'll be coming in due course. These are really useful, just olive green cheese wedges, and they cost 1p each. Beautiful. There's like 35, I believe, of those in here. Super useful. I bought 3 of these Rebel Trooper helmets. They only cost like 3p each, I'm pretty sure, because they're in pretty bad condition. But, you know, useful stuff. This canopy is to finish my Naboo Starfighter. As I said, I didn't have that canopy, but now I do. Very, very useful. Just, yeah, 18p for that. These wedge plates are what I need to finish the hanger in the corner of it. Super useful. I'm glad to have these now. I've got 12 of them, so hopefully I don't run out when finishing the rest of these. These two rounded bricks have a nice like design on them. I'm not sure how to like air vent canister designs. Again, useful for details in a clone base. A couple of smaller ones. This one has a ton of these like stickered small windshield pieces. I'm either going to use these as multiple little like alien crafts or like I guess details for something. I'm not sure. I believe they came in a Guardians of the Galaxy set, but 10p each. I couldn't say no to those. I've got some lovely tan arches, because you know I need 10 arches for thieves, so that's another 10 of those. Super useful, super cool. These are for a different project with a different group of people. I don't believe this gives too much away, rather than I'm going to be using a lot of trans blue bricks for it. But by the time this video comes out, I'm not sure if that collab might have already finished and that mock might have come out, but you'll recognise especially these. That I'll show last. This is, I'm guessing, is just the miscellaneous parts of what they couldn't fit into the rest. These window pieces, one, they were really cheap and will be used in that same mock. I've got a bunch of these dark tan wedge plates for just ground detailing, because you can't have enough dark tan. I've got one of these road printed slopes from a junior set, because I don't know, they just look quite cool. And last in this bag, I have the top printed canopy piece from the Bounty Hunter gunship. I do have the Bounty Hunter gunship, but for some reason the eBay guy I bought it from just didn't put the sticker on it, so now I've got that piece. And last up, I've got Padme Amidala's hair, which will be very useful for the mock as well. And all that came about with postage. That bag's open to just about £13, I believe, which I think is pretty great value, so I'm really happy with this. Let's get to Theed. Okie dokie then. As you can see, I've gotten rid of the temple and kept the grey surrounding structure around it, and I've created these 5 pillars, which I believe are much more accurate to the actual Theed Palace itself. This has led to a couple of other problems, the main one being the scale. This is a little bit smaller than I'd want, because like a minifigure can't even like fit through these doors, where in reality you should be able to get like 3 figures in between each of the holes. But because of the size I'm building at, I'm okay with it being around this size. Number 2 is that this kind of ruins my way of splitting them apart, because the way this piece is in, it means it has to hold them together. So I might just try and make this removable, similarly towards how this main shaft is removable. And I was going to say thirdly, I don't really have any more problems though. I do still need to do the back side of it in between the grey bit and this bit, but that's still to come. I was thinking for the temple behind it, I was going to use a design like this with just a bunch of hinge plates and this like temple, just this a couple of different bricks to just make it look rounded, and put that there. And I think that creates a really nice round look, and it'll make the temple much bigger than it was previously going to be this size, which is more the kind of size I want it at. So I'm going to do that right round to the edge on both sides. I've got another one here, but I still need to replace some of those for some more detailed bricks, because I think that just looks a bit more better than this. Although I still need to put vines on all the sides of everything, which will come at some point. But I think that's looking pretty good for the minute. My next plan is to... I'm not going to be working on these this week, because this week's episode's already getting quite long. I just want to finish the top of this bit generally, and then we can finish out this week's segment. And there we have it. As you can see, I've made another complete mess out of the base of Theed as I'm building. but I think we can see a pretty good amount of progress on the top of this like doorway to the temple section. As you can see, I've been working on this top section in the past little bit. I've made these 3 little components, which I think look fairly accurate to the actual film. Ideally, I'd prefer to have these in like a dark tan maybe, or something like that, but I don't think they do them in that colour. And I didn't want to do gold because they already have them in gold, so I just went for a bit of dark bluish grey, just for something different. And there will be some dark bluish grey in the doors behind here. But yeah, as you can see, this is quite clearly disconnected from the other 2. When it has a roof on top, it'll like be closer together and less, it'll be more seamless, because this quite clearly has some pretty large gaps here and here. But that is just to combat what I was talking about earlier about how they come apart. So this section here is just quite easily removable, and then when that's out as well, I can move the sections around. So that's just for mobility of this MOC while I build it. So yeah, but as for those, that's pretty good. So I'm now just going to finish off that back wall as I was talking about before, although it's quite dark anyway, so I'm not sure how much detail will show up. But then we're going to finish out the episode, so I will see you then. And take a look at that. I have finished my main entrance, like doorway section for my big old temple, and I'm really happy with how this has turned out. As you can see, I popped a little bit of a green sand green roof on there. Unfortunately, I realised when I was putting these down just how the disparity in the different types of colours you get in sand green. These all came from the same BrickLink order, so I don't see why there's so many different colours, but it's like all those are the same, and then you get to here and it's a complete mismatch. But oh well, when you look at it from afar you can't really tell, although some of the darker ones do still stick out a little bit. Looking forward though, you can see I've got a couple more snot bricks just for some small leaf detail, as per usual. And as you can see, I've changed this up a little bit. I've tiled in the bottom of this section, and I've put in the doorway. The way I did that was actually through a very interesting technique. As mentioned before, this whole section can just pop off the top to split it easier, but this doorway is actually kind of just wedged in more than anything. It's kind of hard to remove when I've got my thing back there, but it's basically just this 2x2 not 2x2 4x8 double round pieces. It has stickers on it. I believe it's from the Droid Escape set from 2010 this came in. Well, that's where the stickers are from, but I just turned it on its side, and which means it can fit pretty nicely into these gaps, and just the studs makes it just tall enough to fit in pretty much perfectly if I wedge it through that gap and into the hole there, and then just squeeze it in. So you really just got to jam it in a little bit, and then you secure it down with this section on the top, and as mentioned before, that covers up the seams a little bit better. But I'm really happy with how that turns out. It looks really good if I was going micro scale, like if these were the size of my the figures I was using on the MOC, it would look pretty great, but I am, as I said before, I am just using minifigures. But even still, it doesn't look awful, because it isn't too tiny. So I'm happy with how this has turned out for the scale I'm building at. And it looks nice next to these statues. So yeah, I believe that's it for this week. Next week my plan is to either start work on the temple side or start stretching out into these areas, because still not hugely sure on what's going on here and here. As I've always said, I will be having my towers, but besides that, who knows? So if you like this video, like the video. That's what the button's there for. Comment any improvements I can make, or what your favourite part of this week's update is. I'm super happy with this one. And if you don't want to miss out on next week's Building Deed, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.